So we're going to just cover a couple of the international programs. I know there are at least 3 international students, maybe more. Are you? These 3 guys here, you want to raise your hand? And Australia, yeah. So we have some exchange students if you need to have some more information about how some of the exchange programs work at the school. But we have one in Australia, 2 universities that Dr. Kibbert will, 3 universities that Dr. Kibbert will talk about briefly. We have one exchange program with Hong Kong Polytechnic, one exchange program with the National University of Singapore, and one exchange program with okay. There you go, where these 3 guys are from. And I'll talk about that to sort of wrap things up. So, Charles, you want to start with the Australian programs?
Sure. Are they hear me?
They are.
You're from the Fachhochschule Lippe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sehr gut. And who's from Australia here then? And just one? What university are you from? RMIT. Okay, good. Because I was going to make a little fun of Curtin University, but okay. Actually, I am the university manager for all the Australian exchange programs, for those 3 universities. And I took the job on based on them giving me the latitude to always give building construction students first priority over anybody. Things that may seem, they actually bought into that, you know. So if you want to go on an Australian exchange, you have a very high priority. We have 3 universities. This gentleman, your name is? Josh. Josh is from RMIT in Melbourne, which is in the southern part of Australia. The face is basically Antarctica, and sometimes the Antarctic region acts up and actually coats them in the middle of their summer with cold weather. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful metropolitan city. It's a gorgeous place, great university, very downtown metropolitan kind of place. We send most of our students there. That's where the bulk of our students have gone. I've taught at actually all 3 of these universities, so I know them all firsthand. So they have a great faculty, they have a good program, good connections with their industry, very similar in many ways to us, but they also have several other programs within that department, including property and also, I think, building economics. There's several other things going on. So it has a few more things going on than we do. There's also Queensland University of Technology, which is on the east coast of Australia in Brisbane. Brisbane is a metropolitan city, but it's a lot lower rise. It's not a lot of large buildings as such. It tends to be more Florida-like. So if you go to Australia, you go to QUT in Brisbane, it's basically something more like a Florida, like the climate of Florida, a lot of palm trees and that sort of thing. And then on the western part of Australia, there's Curtin University in Perth. And those of you who may or may not know about Australia, Western Australia is about half the country, and there's only about 1 million people who live there. It's a very desolate area. Perth's a major metropolitan area, about 200,000 people. It sits on the Indian Ocean. Very, very interesting, wild and woolly place. A reasonably good university. But I was kind of going to joke if there were Curtin students. We tend to lose Curtin students. We actually had 5 of them come here one semester about 5 or 6 years ago. We never saw them. You know, and I had to call up my counterpart at Curtin and say, we lost 5 of your students, don't know where they are. They're going to come back with Fs. Sorry about that. So, but in any event, if you're interested in any of these exchange programs, please come by and see me. I'm actually on the 3rd floor in room 342. Generally, I recommend that you go in your J2 semester. You're going to get your feet on the ground your first semester. We don't like you to go in your S2 semester as you're leaving the university. So J1 is the best semester. There's also, J2, is the best semester. Your S1 semester is also an option. So try to go in the J2. We've got sort of the program worked out, the equivalent courses and so on, and how to exchange grades between universities. So that's the best deal. You have ample opportunities to travel on the way to Australia. You can go to New Zealand or Fiji, and then on the way back, you can pick the one you didn't go to or go back to the place you love. Generally, they have a lot of, as I understand it, breaks in their class programs, so the students have actually a lot of time to travel. At least our students have told me this during the semester, to see other parts of Australia. So if you're in Melbourne, you might want to go to Sydney. You might want to go into the interior of Australia to see some of the interior of Australia. So a lot of opportunities for that. Highly recommend it. Whatever you do, get as much out of this program as possible. Again, as I said before, and again, the exchange programs, Australia, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Germany are really great opportunities for that. Again, room 342, my name is Charles Kibbert. If you have any questions about the Australian exchange.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the, let's see, just about the Germany program, which has been run for quite a number of years, I think since the late 1990s, an exchange program with the Hochschule in Lippe, which is sort of this north-central part of the country. And the faculty advisor for a very long time has been Dr. Jimmy Hinsey. And I went along with him on the program for the first time this past summer. It's a summer program. It occurs in 3 weeks in May. These are just some of the images from this past May. And it has really 3 components. It has about a week broken up into those 3 weeks. 1 week is dedicated to a project where you work along with students from the Hochschule in Lippe and work together on a project for about a week. And then present that project. You saw some of that presentation early in the slideshow. Excuse me, in the slideshow. The second week is visiting companies that are in the area. So companies that are doing advanced building construction techniques, advanced facades. Like Schuko is one of the companies that we visited during our week there, as well as visiting some buildings that have some interesting architectural and construction components. This is a visit that we took to a safety museum in the area, very close to where the university is located. This is a craft training center, also near in a city called Bielefeld, where they train craft workers in carpentry, masonry, plastering, roofing, bricklaying for the ground area. And it's interesting to see how that craft training takes place. The third week, we take sort of a cultural week, and we spent some time in Hamburg. This is some of the slides for a redevelopment area that was under construction in Hamburg. We also take a week or 5-day trip to Berlin and some of the cities around Berlin, like Dresden and Magdeburg, are 2 of the ones that we visited. So these are some of the construction sites in Hamburg. This is a cathedral in Magdeburg. We sort of cover a broad range of exposure. Both large construction projects like the airport construction in Berlin, but also take time out to do some cultural activities as well. So if you have any questions or would like to think some more about the program, again, it's a summer program. Typically runs for 3 weeks, although we did have an option for students to stay longer and take an extra course for additional credit this year. We tried that out, and we'll probably follow some of that same structure for the coming years. I'll have some more information and send it out to you as we develop the program for next summer. So keep your eyes open for that, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it if you're interested in that program.